watching News 12 at 10, the one to watch for local news.
Good evening, I'm Dion Cheney. Thanks for joining us. The Solyndra Solar Panel Company was hailed as the poster child of the 2009 stimulus bill, a way to create jobs and be green at the same time. But a $500 million loan and a bankruptcy filing a year and a half later, many of the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act's projects are being questioned, including one right here in Mankato. News 12's Ryan Gustafson brings us the story of Genesis Poly.
What if you could find a way to make money off other people's trash? On top of that, you'd be helping the environment, turning that trash, in this case plastic agricultural film, into anything from outdoor decks to plastic furniture. Even better, in the midst of a recession, the company becomes an oasis of employment and economic development. Behind me stands what was supposed to be Genesis Poly, and it was supposed to do all of those things, taking silage bags and hay wrap and turning them into plastic pellets to be sold to other companies. But it never got off the ground and is currently bankrupt, but not before taking millions of dollars of taxpayer money.
We'll be creating quite a few jobs. We'll be about 30 to 40 right away, and then within a couple of years we're going to be around 120. And then there's opportunities to expand, so we'll go way beyond that over the next 5 years.
Hearing those numbers, Mankato was happy to oblige. The city pulled out plenty of stops, acting as an intermediary of sorts by purchasing the property at 480 North Industrial Road for $850,000. Money acquired through a grant with the state's Department of Employment and Economic Development, or DEED. The old Spartex site would be rented out to Genesis Poly. Along with the site purchase, Mankato lent Genesis Poly $500,000 for equipment. That $500,000 was stimulus money given to DEED and applied for by the city of Mankato. Once paid back, the city could lend it out to another company. At least that was the plan. Reality, however, begged to differ.
I don't think any one of us foresaw a 2-month window and that closing. I don't think that was certainly our process.
In the spring of 2010, Genesis Poly went belly up, and with it went Mankato's money, along with a $100,000 loan from the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency and another $7.44 million through a loan with U.S. Bank, 70% of which was backed by the Department of Agriculture.
The basic problem here is that government is not very good at picking winners and losers.
Genesis Poly was in talks with the Minnesota USDA well before they went to U.S. Bank, and small government advocates are saying the USDA's involvement could have played a role in U.S. Bank's willingness to throw money at Genesis Poly.
There's an implicit sense of a too big to fail. If the government is in, they're going to keep throwing money at it, and so what it looks like a less risky way to spend your money. You don't even have to look at the books because it doesn't matter. Government is going to back you up.
But perhaps the most disappointing aspect of this whole story, this isn't the first time Genesis Poly has gone bankrupt. Back in 2008, with the same idea and the same investors, AGSI Recycling, as it was called, out of Savage, disintegrated as well, costing another $57,000 for the MPCA, and taking the 8 million pounds of plastic they had collected for production and dumping it all in a landfill.
This company in particular had already gone out of business once, and so the business model didn't work. Yes, they could produce something that was useful, but not at a price that anyone was willing to pay. If government has to shove money in, you're burning up that kind of green to create another kind of green coming out the other side, and it just doesn't make sense.
U.S. Bank refused to comment on the story, citing ongoing litigation in the matter. A multi-party lawsuit working its way through Blue Earth County Court with the city of Mankato, the MPCA, and U.S. Bank suing Genesis Poly and a separate investor, Crown Machine. That case is currently in the discovery phase with the first court date set for February 7th. In Mankato, Ryan Gustafson, News 12.